Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? My name is Mark, and thanks for watching. I wanted to make another video right quick. Um, Thanks for those that watch the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the bell. It should let you know when I'm going to post a new video. Also, definitely write some comments, a thumbs up. All that helps the channel. Now, I'm in the process of getting ready to do an actual recording. I'm actually about to do a few recordings here, and I'm trying to squeeze it in with doing other things like trying to get these cars, fixing these little issues with my cars, like changing the clutch, things like that. I'm also, while I'm up here, I'm installing my grounding wiring system. And when I get that done, I'm going to show people the ground system, which is absolutely necessary when you have a console and you got rack gear and stuff like that. That's absolutely necessary. So I'm in the purpose of doing that. But what I want to talk about is microphones. So what I have right now here is I have a ribbon microphone. I have a dynamic microphone, which is a SM. This is a SM58, but SM57, any dynamic microphone. SM7. Then I have this is a tube microphone. It does have a tube in it. So I'll pull this off. Pulling the bottom off so you can actually see the tube. See on the back side, there's an actual tube in there. That's an actual 12AX7 tube in here. It's a tube microphone with an output transformer right here. And if you want to know what's going to really tube microphones and ribbon microphones are like the absolute industry standard secret to getting that really nice tone when it comes to vocals and instruments. Out of this is a Rode NT2. I know a lot of people like the Rode NT2.1, but I like the Rode NT2 because I can make polarity adjustments. I can also do roll-offs where there's a 40 roll-off on a hertz or 80 roll-off for low end, and I can boost or cut dB levels, so you can make choices. Absolutely love these Rode microphones. If you ever get a chance to see the Rode factory tour, and Peter Friedman really goes through great details to explain how the quality of how high precision these Rode microphones and the circuits of the circuit board circuitry of these microphones are stellar. Okay, so all right. But I also have Warm Audio 47s. I got AT2020. I got some other tube microphones. I also have some a couple of B1s and some other quite a few collection of microphones. And the reason being, you have to have that because what I noticed with some people that have a studio, and excuse me if my nose and all they hear the little and all that, because I have really, really small nasal passages, and so with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna grab one more microphone. I'm gonna grab the 47. So I'm gonna grab a couple more microphones. So, all right. I just grabbed the 47 simply because it's the fat version of the there's the solid state, and then there's a solid state, and then there is the tube version, which I plan on getting. I have a couple of the solid state 47s, and this is a great all-around microphone as well. They did a great job to emulate the 47 sound, which you've heard on the Million Records, as well as I'm going to get some tube microphones. I'm going to get quite a few more tube microphones. I'm definitely getting a lot more ribbon microphones. Now, with the microphones, I also got a SM between the two most popular dynamic microphones. SM58, you've probably seen a lot of these used for vocals on stage. Very, very popular dynamic microphone, and of course, the workhorse in for instruments like on drums, guitar cabinets, bass cabinets, the SM57. These are a couple of microphones that usually you can buy both of these for under $100 each. And if you want to invest in dynamic microphones that would be your number one dynamic microphone for your instruments, and SM57, SM58. Okay. Now, I'm only going to talk about these 4 classes of microphones because there are over 130 something microphone companies, and each company probably make a wide range of they probably got a collection of anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 different microphones they make. You do the math on those microphones. It's just a lot of microphones, a lot of microphones out there. But only reason I want to stress, and I really don't want to stress too much on the you gotta love my autofocus lighting for my webcam. I think that's the reason why I didn't really use this camera that much. I'm starting to use it again because it's easy for me to get started to record these videos. But this auto adjusts, any movements, and when it darkens, then it lightens, it darkens the light based on the angle of the camera's trying to autofocus on. So, like it's doing now. So, all I can tell people, even if you're investing in a recording studio where you have a very minimum setup, and you are having your minimum setup where you just have your controller, your interface, your speakers, whatever preamps, whether it's in the interface or you got an external preamp, and you're going to use whatever choice of plugins in the DAW as a minimum, right? I would say if you're going to record external sources, such as guitar cabinets, you're going to invest in, or you're going to record instruments or just a different wide range of vocals. Do not buy, for example, one condenser microphone and think that one condenser microphone is a one-size-fits-all for every single vocalist that you're going to record. Or you're going to record everything with one condenser. And I see this a lot when some people buy one microphone and they figure, okay, I'm good. I'm going to buy one condenser and I'm good. You got to understand that every vocalist, every instrument, every analog signal that you plan on recording with these microphones will sound different in their range. No one person also has the identical ranges or even the same timbre or pitch, or there's a lot of, the timbre of someone's voice. Some people have harder sounding tones than others. So sometimes you realize I need to soften up the vocals. And you know what the first thing that people want to do when they want to start running over to the preamps. And they want to start making adjustments with the preamps, thinking that's going to fix the issue of a person's voice. You got to remember, to capture one's voice, it's got to be captured first. The first thing that's going to capture the person's voice, or anything that's going to capture something that you have to use a microphone, is the microphone. So the reason why people like Al Schmidt was so good at recording like live bands and orchestras and stuff like that is because, for example, he would take a microphone and the source could be here. And he would make slight adjustments by slowly bringing the mic. He might move it closer, an inch, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, until, because this, let's say my hand, this is my source. The closer you get to the source, the more it's going to sound more bigger and warmer, but it might also kill the clarity. But as you pull the microphone away from the source, it's going to start to sound a little bit clearer, but it's going to start to sound a little bit more thinner. And a lot of times, okay, or like this right now, I got this Rode set in cardio pattern, right? I might want to put an Omni where is picking up both capsule on the front and the back is picking up everything now. So I switch it to Omni instead of figure 8 or cardio Omni setting. And that's really good for actually picking up more ambience of the room so you can hear the instrument. There's not only is the microphone capturing the sound, but also the microphone's going to capture a lot more of the room instead of just what's in front of the front capsule. Figure 8, it just cancels out the size of the microphone, but it picks up what's up front and what's behind. But also placement, how you place the microphone in front of the source can change. Not only can it change the tone of what the microphone's picking up, but it can also change the EQ. That's why a lot of times say, well, I don't really like the sound. That's why he didn't really use a lot of EQ on the consoles. What he liked to do is move the microphone around to you like the tone that the microphone was picking up. And on top of that, if you are recording a source, sometimes grabbing this might not be the best choice. You might have to go from this Rode NT2, and I said, you know what, I'm going to have to go to this 47. And the way the 47, this 47 Junior, is going to capture your sound, a lot of times can ultimately be the deal breaker. Oh, that's what's missing. I'm going to use the 47. Or, in some instances, you might not want to use a condenser mic at all. Or, with these solid states. And they just don't sound warm enough. That's where a tube microphone comes into play. I need to switch to the tube. Or, some instances like, well, I tried the tubes. I tried the Rode solid state, the Roland 47, the tube, nothing seems, and the magic answer could be the ribbon. And in some cases, there are a lot of people that think that you have to use condenser microphones in recordings. In some instances, the dynamic microphone is the answer. And it's not always have to be an SM58. Maybe the 57 is the answer. So, now, one last thing on these microphones. You got to look at, when I look at a dynamic microphone and someone's talking to a dynamic microphone, I kind of picture this microphone capturing the sound kind of like a V into the microphone, like your source is going into a V so it can go directly into the microphone. Its main focus is not to really capture a lot of room sound, but really to focus what's really placed in front of this direct microphone, and that's all based on how it's placed in front of the microphone. It can be so many inches up to so many, but the thing with dynamics, with the preamps, you really have to drive dynamic microphones. Some people like to use cloud lifters or basically volume boosters to really get these dynamic microphones to shine. But they can shine in a lot of ways, and sometimes this dynamic microphone is your vocal answer over any condenser or ribbon or tube microphone. Gotta sneeze. So it's coming. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So, and then like I said, with the choice of between like this is the tube microphone. This tube microphone, a lot of times, out of microphones that are used in most recording situations in your studios, the ribbon microphones, and this is an MXL R80. I'm gonna get a couple more of these, and of course I'm gonna get the MXL R144s. I'm gonna get a few of those ribbon microphones because ribbon microphones really shine, especially for guitar cabinets. Ribbon microphones really shine on instruments like horns. And people are wondering, how did I get it? If you listen to how did I get a really nice trumpet sound, a sax sound when I did my What You Gonna Do for Love cover song? I used a combination of a tube condenser microphone, and this Royer. I wish I had some Royers. This Marshall MXL R80 ribbon microphone. So to sum it up, on between whether you're going to use, like I said, this is the 47 Junior, very, very popular. This is a very affordable microphone. The Rode, or this right here is called an 80K tube microphone, and I have quite a few more tube microphones. But tube microphones are some of my favorite microphones to go for vocals. So what else? But sometimes it's between a ribbon or tube microphone, a solid state like this Rode, or even a dynamic microphone like this SM58. You have to place the microphone in certain placements and see how you like the tone. A lot of times people want to get microphones, they grab a microphone, put it up, and don't even think about the placement and how much that's going to affect the recording. Choice of microphone and the placement and the source should be considered. Then we can start looking at preamps, which I'm going to talk about preamps in another video. I'm going to talk about preamps tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about the preamps, because believe it or not, your console, if you got a console, like I have this Allen Heath, the preamps there are 48 preamps in this console. There's 48 preamps. And sometimes you have to listen to the tone of the preamp in the console. A lot of times we think preamp, we have to go to a preamp that's in, like what you see my racks of preamps over there, or the preamp or the preamp in the console, or the preamp in your interface. But you'd be amazed how good, like if you have an Allen Heath, like this is an Allen Heath console, you'd be amazed how great the preamps sound in the console. And I'll go back with Al Schmidt when he was alive. He was at Capitol, and they used the Neve. They were using that Neve console. Well, if you heard like the Neve 1073 preamps that were in racks, where do you think those preamps came from? They came out of consoles. They just took the preamp circuitry out of a console and put it in a 19-inch rack-mounted unit. It's the same preamp. It's like that's why if you want a really great sounding preamp that's affordable, like if you want the Neve style, if you want a Rupert Neve style preamp that's affordable, for example, the Focusrite ISA 110. Well, they sell it. It's called the Focusrite ISA 1. Runs used average about $500 on reverb. And that will get you the sound. They only made this. They made this console called the Focusrite console. They only made 10 of them, and one of them happened to be in Ocean Way, which is now United recording studio. The preamp and Jack Pewitt said it can't break the sound of that preamp. Well, those preamps, they took the circuitry out of that preamp in the console and put it in a little small box unit. It's the same preamp circuitry, so you're going to get that console's preamp sound, which I'm going to talk about preamps in another video. I just want to stick on focus. So you think about the choice of microphone before, then you think about the preamps. And then we can think about the converters. Then we can think about getting a good gain signal, no low noise floor recording. So we want to think about the source. How good is the source? The quality of the source, the quality of the vocalist or a rapper, whatever the case. Then we want to think about, or if there's a person playing an instrument like a guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, what kind of cabinet, how I'm going to mic this cabinet, what microphone I'm going to use, and how I'm going to place the microphone. And a lot of times you can have that musician just play, and you can place the microphone in different positions on the cabinet to get the best sweet sounding sound out of that cabinet. Sometimes the guitar needs to use a different cabinet, because there are some musicians that would have bad sounding guitar cabinets, or their keyboard amp or whatever, their bass amp just don't sound great. So, and if the source doesn't sound any good, it doesn't matter what microphone or preamp or whatever you use, if the source just doesn't sound good. So I would, the sum up on microphones, just remember, that's why you want to start building up your collection of different types of microphones, because, and I end on this, if I have a vocalist, let's say I get a female vocalist, she may not sound good on this Rode. I might have to switch her to this 80K tube microphone. Or I might have to switch her to the 47. Or I might have to switch her to a dynamic. And that's just to name a few. This is why I'm always still constantly building up my microphone collection. It's why I'm always constantly building up my preamp section. Because those are your two components out of, so you got your source, microphone, and preamp. And then we can worry about, other things in the signal chain, such as compressors. And then we get that into recording. And once you get the front end right, the mixing portion comes easy after that, when it comes to applying the EQs and compressors and reverbs and going in through the circuits of a console and all that. Or if you're going to use plugins or whatever, and then you're going to mix in the box or whatever the case. But the front end is the crucial part. The front end. So that's going to do it when I'm on my using different, my thoughts on building up your microphone collection, so that way you can really know what microphone is going to work best for the job. And this is the reason why, for example, a professional photographer, this is why they don't just use cell phones on photo shoots. Their cell phones have fixed lenses. This is the reason why they use an actual real camera with different assortment of lenses, because the lenses is the secret to the quality of the picture, is the lenses. And I'll do a video series. I'm going to do another thing on, I'm going to do a video on why photographers use different lenses, so you can, and I'm going to use my camera with different lenses so you can see the difference as to why different lenses make the difference, even with the same camera. The different lenses make the difference in the photo. And then how the settings in the camera, it's the same thing when you're dealing with recording. Different pieces of gear, different microphones, different preamps, different compressors, different reverb units, different delays, all create so many different results. And this is why commercial professional studios have what they have and do what they do, and why they do what they do. And this is why the results come out. This is why a person that don't understand, the people that are like, I don't need no, why commercial studios. Anyone would be crazy to realize that if you're dealing with a top-notch studio, this is why top-notch studios shine. And this is why I'm always stressing about, you want to get you to the level of, you're trying to, because they've already, the epitome and the standard of quality has already been set. The bar has already been set. Everyone's chasing that, and all these plugin companies and all these companies are constantly making plugins to try to get you to emulate that. Why do you think, and on this note, why do you think when they keep making plugins, why do you think they keep making more and more plugins that look more and more like analog gear? And they're trying to get the model more and more like analog gear. Every time you see more and more plugins come out, they don't look like your modern standard computerized program type of plugins. They look more like it's a plugin that came in after a vintage piece of gear. And you got companies like Slate, Waves, you'll have Acoustica Audio, Nomad Factory, UAD. They're constantly making plugins that are modeled after rack gear. Why is that? Because the bar has been set. The bar got set in the standard to a level of high precision recording in the 80s. It was at its top of the game in the 80s, and that includes down to tape machines. So everything else is just chasing that. And as they make plugins getting better, computers getting better to process, 64-bit systems, plugins and all that, this is the reason why plugins sound so much better, because of the processing, and it gets really, really deep into the why stuff sounds better and better with plugins, because they're emulating more and more of real gear. But it starts with a good recording source if you do a lot of analog recording. Microphones are not really so much of a big deal unless, if you're using a lot of VST plugins, such as virtual instruments, samples, virtual sounds, synthesizer sounds, a lot. That's not really so much. It helps if you run it through at least some preamps and all that, but virtual instruments directly, from your computer source, that's a whole different ball game. Not necessarily, but if you're going to record vocals, or you're going to definitely record instruments, trumpets, saxes, guitars, bass cabinets, you're going to record acoustical instruments, pianos, and especially with different choices of vocalists, microphone selection can be critical. And then your preamps, then your compressors, your chain, then, and even then, having really good AD to DA converter, then working all that into the DAW. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great one.